Hey everyone, welcome to another Haze Reverb video, and in this one it's going to be my final team for the Desires of the Dead Crusade raid. So we're going to go over the unit choices and why they're positioned the way they are, because that's all very important to working out the highest damage I can do for this boss. So first off, we got Monica on turn 1, and she's here because her buff lasts for 18 turns, and because Bolina does so much damage, you kind of need to plan around that. Um, and the boss will basically die after the first round is over, pretty much, right? It's like one round and then one more turn for Bolina to attack again, and the boss is dead, right? So you need the buff to last for longer than 9 turns, right? So an 80 turn is plenty, and I'm sacrificing her because once she does her buff, I don't need her for any other purpose after that, right? So she's going to get sacrificed there, and also because she can buff all units here. Then Kossgard will do her buff for crit damage and also the debuff for fragile. Now, then she's also going to get sacrificed because the boss will attack Monica, right? And it attacks everything behind Monica as well. So I'm sacrificing these two after they've done their thing because I no longer need them after that, because the fight won't last long enough for that, right? So then she's going to do that, and then Bolina will do the initial partial burst. It's going to get it down to something like 770k remaining, something like that. And you may wonder, could I improve the damage further at the end by having Illya move first, right, to do 2 buffs of the overcap crit damage? Unfortunately, it makes the positioning very awkward because then I have to plan for a second attack, right? Because Illya will have attack again, and then the boss will attack the next unit, in line. So I have to plan around that, and also the amount of damage that Bolina is doing right now is already getting the boss down fairly low, right? And if Illya were to move before Bolina for round 1, then Bolina's going to do more damage, right? And that just reduces the amount of mark damage that my Verir could do. So I can't do too much damage with Bolina, so therefore that's why I'm only buffing her with 1 unit. I do need to buff her only because Bolina's crit damage, crit chance on without any buffs is going to be naturally 80%, which is a little unfortunate. Because for that reason, like she gets 40% here, and then I think in her skills here somewhere she gets 40, and over here she gets another 40%, right? Therefore, to make it consistent, you have to buff her with some sort of crit chance on her, right? Because obviously you're not going to run crit chance claws on her because you're nerfing her overall damage. That's also partially why I'm using Monica here, right? So that she can buff the crit chance and also give her some damage, because you do want Bolina to do like a decent chunk of the damage. Because Verir doesn't do like a lot, right? Especially because there's limited spaces to even buff Verir with. I could potentially do some swaps. Like I could maybe put Nay in place of Dolores and basically make Nay move earlier, and then Zhao Wu would then splash onto both as well. But then actually Verir does too much damage, unfortunately. So this is I had to sort of finesse it this way, but basically they're not doing their full potential damage, but it's enough to get it fairly low. So that's why Bolina is on position 3, and this way on round 2, when number 1 and 2 positions are both gone, that means Bolina will be the next one to act, and then she will do the overkill on the beginning of the second round, right? Then we got, as I said, Illya before. So Illya is going to give 1 buff of the crit damage overcap on Bolina. And then we got Zhao Wu. So by this point, Zhao Wu will be triggering her EX because it triggers off 2 units being dead, right? And obviously those 2 are gone. So then she's going to buff onto Dolores, and then Dolores is going to do her buff, splashing onto Verir and Bolina. Now, Dolores is a new addition. I haven't used it before, and I did find that she's quite good for this, and I think overall she's quite good as a buffing unit for your sub DPS, because you can splash it onto Bolina, whereas normally you would use something like a Tina or a Maybell instead to buff your second DPS, but then your main your main DPS isn't going to get the benefit of like that buff, right? So you're basically you're slotting a unit specifically to buff your sub DPS, which is obviously not going to be as optimal as buffing your main DPS. Even though there is a cap, but like without Dolores, I think I may not be able to reach the cap on this. So yeah, I think Dolores is quite good after testing her out on this boss. And then she's at rank 9 to get the maximum buff. You don't need her to be at rank 10. You only need her to be rank 9 to get all of her PvE buffs. Then we got Verir again to do the final chip damage. It's going to get down to about 50k remaining. I couldn't get it any further because if you buff her damage any further, like you will be overkill. And the only other way to really chip it down further would be to give like Kossgard and even Illya like some attack cores, but it's a very minor difference, not worth like really trying to bother with. So yeah, with Verir, she's the anti-resistance mark DPS, right? So if you've watched my Crusade videos, you will know that I typically will try to use a mark DPS these days, because we have one for every armor class now, or sorry, like damage reduction class. So hers is ignore resistance, and we're snapshotting as much damage onto her as possible, right? To do overkill. So what you'll see at the end is the boss will like take Bolina's damage, and then it will tick up again, and that will be, I believe, it should be Verir's damage, or it could be just maybe Bolina has like an EX. I think this might have already. Actually, I'm not sure if this triggers earlier or not, but basically there'll be like you see the bump up, and it will do some extra damage. So yeah, that's Verir, and then we've got Nay. Now, unfortunately with Nay, her buffs are so strong that if I swap stuff around, I did try swapping it so that Nay buffs Verir, but it actually does too much damage in that case. So that's the annoying thing to finesse with this, is that Bolina has to do as little damage as possible while still getting buffed by support on the first round. And then Verir wants to do as much damage as possible without killing the boss to snapshot as much as she can, right? But yeah, Nay will also trigger her EX, which is a little bit of extra damage reduction, like removal, because the boss does have 100% mobility, so it will get the like basic amount of damage reduction from dodging, which is 35%, and Nay will take off 15% of that, right? 10% from here and 5% from the EX. So that is Nay there, and then we got Meria here. So Meria is going to be the single target buffer, and she's positioned on number 9 because it's going to wrap around and target the first position that's still remaining on the board. Because obviously, at the moment, it will be targeting Monica, but Monica's going to be dead, Kossgard's going to be dead, and then the next unit in line will be Bolina. So that will do the final buff on Bolina to cap her out. And then Bolina will kill her on the final, or like the first turn of the second round. So that is the turn order in a nutshell. I'll play it so you can see how it pans out. I'll slow it down just so you can see it a little bit easier. You can speed it up if you want to, but otherwise it's be too quick on ×4 for me to talk through it. So we've got the buffs here from both Monica and Kossgard, and then they're going to get sacrificed. Bolina will do her chip damage, or not. I say chip damage, but she's going to like burst it down a bit, but not kill it, and remaining 775,000. Alright, so now we've got some more buffs, and now Verir is going to apply her damage and snapshot her mark on the boss. Gets it down to roughly 50k, and then we've got our final buff from Nay and Meria, which is now targeting the Bolina. So now Bolina should be capped here, as you can see. She's got the 1050 crit damage, I think I could probably show Verir here as well. This is roughly what she had when she attacked. I think she actually is slightly less when she attacks. I think she got an extra buff because of Nay. Maybe Nay, or I don't know who. Someone buffs something and buffs her a little bit more. But from memory, she actually has like 680%. But capped crit damage, of course. Also crit chance. That's the most important part. Then now Bolina will do her overkill, and you'll see up here that it will tick up again. And yeah, so I'm not sure if that's the EX portion of her ability or if it's like the mark triggering, right? Now I do want to talk about the state of Crusade rate, because this is going to be kind of important for those who are looking to sort of cement their top 100 cleared. Now I did notice with this boss, if you scroll all the way down, everyone here has done a hell clear, right? You can tell by how much damage they're doing, right? If you're doing a hell clear, like you'll have generally like at least 5 mil, I would say, and like Nightmare will be significantly less, like you'll be like 3 mil or something like that, right? So I can tell that in order to stay top 100, it's going to be a lot more competitive now, and you may want to consider investing into some extra support units if that's if that will help you reach the top 100. It's not a huge difference, like in my opinion, because it's like 400 less crystals, which is I guess that is fairly significant, but it's not as it's not super bad, right? And I think either way, as long as you're reaching top 1000, you should be able to buy out the whole shop with this amount, I think. But if you want to secure top 100 consistently on NA server specifically, then you might need to consider some better supports, more investment into them, the DPS required for all the various types of Crusade raids, right? Because you're going to need anti-res, anti-armor, and anti-dodge, and then maybe supports like Dolores, right? Who are now in the custom banner. They could be good pickups to help push your score up. But yeah, I will say that this boss is a lot easier than usual, right? Especially because Bolina is it's fairly easy to access. Most people should have her. Only people who won't have her are those who started late after the anniversary events and I think the end of the year event. I think we had like the limited banners that you could pull Bolina on again. For those people who missed out, you probably have to wait a couple more months for the actual yearly anniversary, which will probably bring back the Bolina banner, or not Bolina's banner specifically, but it will have like the banner for all limiteds, and then Bolina will be available in that. But yeah, for Bolina Crusade raids, it definitely will be a lot harder to reach top 100 now. But yeah, that's just my thoughts on Crusade raids, so I'll leave it there. Thanks for watching, guys, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.